Hey, 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 good almost afternoon. You are here with us and our Take a Seat with Keisha and Candice. We are doing our live Q&A Wednesday. So allow us to reintroduce ourselves. I am Candice.
I'm Keisha.
This is Keisha. And we are doing something a little bit different today. So today we are going to be taking your questions and answering them here on live. So right. But we have a lot of questions that we want to get to, so we are going to jump right into it. So, hey Tracy. So did you want to pick first or you want me to pick?
You can pick first.
All right. Ooh. So these questions are concerning different experiences, topics that women endure. We got these questions from all over, so we don't know what they are. We did not see them. We did not pre-read them.
Don't judge us.
Don't judge us. We didn't pre-read them, so hopefully this is going to be interesting. Ooh, this is a long one.
Okay.
All right. So first question is, my sister asked me to have a baby for her, and I'm not sure if I want to. I'm single, young, with no children, and she has been trying with her husband for years. I don't want to hurt my relationship with her, but I don't think I'm ready for that experience. What should I do? That was a loaded question. So I had to be our first one. That was loaded, but we're going to do our best to answer it. So
that is a real life question.
That's real life. It's real life, and these are things that we experience. So honestly, given my perspective would be, for one, as you stated, that you're single and you're young, you got to have that talk with your sister. Mm-hmm. Communicate with her and inquire with her about your concerns and your issues that you have with the situation. Regardless, unfortunately, I think that since it's a sensitive subject, that feelings may be hurt, but you have to be honest because that is your sister, and you have to let her know how you feel before you end up making a huge step like that, because that is life-changing.
It is. Yeah.
So I would definitely say have that talk with your sister and let her know exactly what your concerns are. Don't sugarcoat it. Let her know that, you would love to try to have this baby for her, but there are just some real concerns that you have about it, and lay them out for her. And then you allow her to give her answer to it, and then you move forward. But yeah, I think communication is key. That's the first thing that you have to do. So do you have any?
No, as long as she comes from a place of love and her, I believe that the sister would possibly have a better understanding that she has concerns about it, and that's a very
hey Larry.
That's a very huge.
That was pretty loaded for our first one, but
all right, next question.
Oh, it's your turn to pick the read.
That was too deep for me. I hope you get a fun one. That was way too deep.
I know.
All right. Should you adjust your parenting styles as your kids grow older, or stick with the same style until they're grown? So I am going to answer that. I mean, I think that's kind of common sense that as your kid gets older, there are some things you have to adjust. But I do believe that as you're parenting, you realize that each kid has a different personality.
Absolutely.
So you obviously can't do the same thing with every kid, which means you can't do the same thing with the kid as they get older, because you change.
Right. And
everyone changes as you get older. And the kids change as they get older. So I feel like we all kind of have that inner wisdom where we know when something feels right. And we just have to do our best to, make sure our kid is at best interest, and it's not. Something that bugs me is when I hear people say, that's what they did when I was younger,
Exactly.
That's what I did when I was younger, so I'm going to do it with my kids. Like, wait a minute. First of all, when you were younger, it was a different time.
It was a different time.
There wasn't as many distractions and things that your kid was going through. So yeah, you definitely have to do what is best for your kid and what you feel okay doing.
Absolutely. And that's a good point that you said at the end. Make sure that you're comfortable with how you are parenting. You don't have to take your mother's or your grandmother's or anybody else's way of parenting. I mean, if you want to and you like what they did, you can incorporate it in your own parenting, but you want to make sure you do what's comfortable for you. Because if your children will recognize that, like if you're trying to parent them and you don't know what you're doing, they gonna call you out on it.
They will.
They will make sure that they do that. So exactly. We can share some testimonies about that. So you make sure that you parent the way that you feel comfortable with parenting.
Miss Phyllis said good answer. I don't know if that was I don't know what question that was, but go ahead, your turn.
Okay, let's hope we get a fun one.
I know.
So my first one was loaded. Y'all are not playing with these questions. My man is too close to a female coworker at his job and it bothers me. How do I tell him to stop, and should I stay in the relationship with him? Okay, so I'm not sure if you're married or this is just a relationship with this person, but again, I have to go back to communication.
Yeah.
You have to express yourself and let your man know, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't think that this is the proper way to behave as my boyfriend or husband, and this is the things that I would like for you to do moving forward. If you feel as though that he is not going to listen to you, then it may be time to walk away. But that depends on if it's a relationship or a marriage. But yeah, your man has to be understanding of your feelings and has to be concerned about your feelings. And if he wants to keep you there, he will do what he needs to do to keep you there. So if you are uncomfortable with this female worker that he is working with, then you got to express yourself. You have to express yourself and let him know.
Yeah.
So,
that's right. I mean, with everything, I always tell people, because actually, I've talked to someone about a situation like that, and I feel like when you're in a relationship, you have to set boundaries.
You do.
You have to set boundaries for your relationship, and you have to definitely communicate with your significant other. If they feel uncomfortable about something, they should feel open enough to express that to you, and be able to be okay with being honest about it.
Right.
And that person should, on the other end, should be able to listen and understand, okay, if you feel uncomfortable doing this or with me doing this, well, I will not talk to this person, or I will not ride with this person. Whatever the case is, there has to be boundaries in all of our relationships, because when you're in a relationship, you have to trust people.
You have to trust them. Component.
Yeah, you have to trust, or you can't do anything. You really can't. So yeah, that's the main thing. Set boundaries and make sure you're open to the spouse's or girlfriend or boyfriend's feelings.
And another thing that I just thought of too is you want to put yourself in a situation as well. You want to reverse it. Yeah. So if your man came to you and said that he didn't want you speaking to a certain male worker, how would you feel and how would you react? Yeah. And so once you kind of put yourself in those scenarios or put yourself in other people's shoes, you can maybe see where the other person is coming from. So, and I also was thinking, even though this is sensitive, but you want to give it time, because a lot of times we expect for our significant others to automatically change. And so therefore, even though I'm not sure as far as the severity of what their interactions have been, but if it's just been very light, very surface, as far as maybe that they, have lunch together all the time and so forth, express yourself, let them know how you feel, and give them a few weeks to kind of adjust to let the other person know and see what happens. Unfortunately, when we think like the next day that person is going to change, we set ourselves up for failure.
Yeah,
so
that is so true. Yeah. All right, next question. Bing, 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 bing. How do you stay away from temptation in the world when you're trying to be saved and everyone around you is not?
I like that question.
That is a very good question. Let's see. So temptation.
It's a variety.
Yeah. Temptation is always out there. Forms. And yes, if you are a Christian, if you believe in God, you know that the devil is the tempter. Okay? He knows all of our weaknesses. Yes, he knows how to tempt people. He knows that one temptation for another person might not even faze another person. So there are ways that you have to stay away. How do you stay away? I said it earlier, boundaries. Yep. Boundaries. If your temptation is food, I'll start on the lower end of temptations. Right. I'm not going to jump right to the top. Your temptation is food, if you feel like, okay, I cannot stop eating brownies. I don't know. Don't go to the brownie aisle stop. Don't go to the brownie aisle in the grocery store. Just skip that aisle. That little aisle with all the little Debbie stuff and all that. Like, don't even go down that aisle. That is that's a small boundary that you can set for yourself, so you're not tempted to go in there and just smash. Sometimes people only give in when they see it. So that's the boundary you want to set. You're reading the question. Okay, go ahead. So temptation in the world. Now I'm gonna go straight to being tempted or in a relationship. Okay, outside of the relationship. That is a temptation people deal with. Boundaries. If you know you have a wandering eye, listen to me. I heard this one person say he enjoyed looking at women. Look, he said he enjoyed looking at women. So when he and his wife, he likes looking at beautiful women. Okay, we all like to look at beautiful people, right? Oh, they're so pretty, they're so beautiful. But when you're with your wife or your girlfriend, your wife don't want you staring a woman down, talking about how beautiful she is. So what this guy said he does is when he's out on a date with his girlfriend, I think it was his girlfriend at that time, he said he kept his eyes focused on her. I'm talking about if women were walking past, he was all about his girlfriend, focused on her. He set that boundary for himself, like, I'm not even gonna look around. I don't care if I want to look down. I'm not gonna look down at my phone or nothing. I'm gonna look directly at her. That's something small that you can do just where you don't want to be tempted. You don't want to be tempted to look at people, and you definitely don't want to be tempted to take it to the other level. And if the enemy comes in, he can get it to that point. It will start off as, oh, they look so cute. They look so cute. And the next thing you know, you're riding to work together. Next thing you know, you're having lunch together. Next thing you know, exactly. You have to set boundaries for yourself, especially in that area. Sorry, you go there. Go ahead. But then you also have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Yes. So if you are in atmospheres where the majority of people are not saved, then you need to try to surround yourselves with those that are. Finding that one or two individuals that can be your accountability partner. Yeah. Meaning that somebody that when you're feeling tempted, you can say, you know what, I need to call up my good girlfriend. I need for you to help me through this, and you guys can pray together, read scriptures together, and do what you need to do. Our babies are trying to come in, and do what you need to do as far as to make sure that you can avoid whatever temptations are around. But they are going to be around. This isn't a perfect world, clearly. So you have to recognize that temptation is going to surround you. So you're not going to be able to go in the closet or in a box and say, okay, I'm just going to stay here forever till Jesus call me home. It ain't going to happen. Find yourself a good group of people that you can be accountable to. And the other thing, I know there's a temptation a lot of people don't want to talk about, but to view things that you know are inappropriate. And we could just say it, to view porn. If you know that, everyone has their view on what porn is and if it's okay and if it's not okay. I feel like it's not okay. But if you have a problem with it to where you're always watching it and you can't even... Yeah, I feel awkward with the baby right here. Yeah. Like, I'm talking about this with the baby in her room. Yeah. So, what was I talking about? Yes. So if that is an addiction that you have to porn or viewing those sexually graphic movies or pictures or things like that. If that's an addiction for you, you can set your own boundaries as well with phones. I know a person who said that they actually lock their phone to where it's like their spouse is the only person who knows the code where they can get access to rated R or what. Like that was a boundary they had to set because they knew that as long as they have their phone in front of them, they can easily go to what they want to see. And unfortunately, that was poisoning their relationship. So that is something that person had to do to fight that temptation of porn. Put your own parental controls on. And it sounds basic, but at the same time,
it's very
if it's going to help you fight temptation, which that's the goal, you don't want to be tempted to do these things, you have to make those decisions. So,
also to the basics.
Go ahead.
Keep your Bible close. I know when I was a baby saint, there was the smallest things from listening to secular music or just watching movies that I know that will kind of interfere with my spirit. And so therefore I kept my word by me at all times. And now, because that was many moons ago, we got our phone and can just look at it right then and there. Like you don't have to carry a big old Bible with you to make sure you're reading a word.
Find that scripture that's going to help keep you strong.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say too. I would meditate on a certain scripture throughout the day. And again, I had an accountability partner. Mine was my husband. But definitely anytime that I needed to kind of get back in line, we would pray together, do a quick little 5-minute prayer, and then it'll get me right back on track. So there's many small things that you can do because again, I always say this, that we always tend to look over the small things thinking that we have to do these dramatic things to see dramatic changes. Not the case. You can do small things to get you to that big goal.
That's right.
So definitely try to keep those things in mind. So,
absolutely. Yeah, those are all of our questions. It was fun. Candice and I were like, this is nerve-wracking. But these are very good questions.
They were awesome
and these are topics that we really want to hit. Like some of these things that people are talking about is very close to their heart. Like somebody is struggling with temptation. And that's the reality of us as humans, you know.
Struggling in a relationship.
We all struggle in different areas and we have to be able to voice it and get good counsel. Right. You know, not girl, do whatever you want to do. It's your body, it's your life. You do what you want to do. You know, sometimes you want somebody that's going to give you a different perspective so that you can make the best decision for yourself.
Exactly. And I do want to hit quickly, Joey had mentioned as far as the question we had earlier, which was a young lady who was single and young. Her sister wanted her to have a baby, and she wasn't really ready to take on that responsibility. She made a good suggestion as far as stating that, you know, her sister maybe can consider adoption or foster care, not foster care, I'm sorry, being a foster parent, which is also options, or surrogate too, that's not necessarily her sister. Right. So those are also valuable options and practical options that can be used that a lot of times, and I will be honest, in our culture we don't talk about. That's right. And so therefore that was a good suggestion, Joey. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Joey.
But everyone that tuned in, thank you for tuning in. As you can see, we have on our Avatar shirts that you can get at our Spreadshirt shop. Which is www.spreadshirt.com / Anti-Superwoman. I'm sorry.
I remembered something.
You remembered it today. I had to remember it the first two calls.
Phyllis Ware, awesome session. Oh, thank you.
Oh, the hubby's here.
Oh, hey, babe. My babe tuning in. It's lunchtime. Hey.
So, yes, but also we have a Facebook group that you can join as well. And so that is also Facebook groups / ASM. And then we have a YouTube channel, ASM blog, and we have a YouTube channel that is the exact same. So you can look us up on YouTube, and if you weren't able to catch the earlier part of this, you can look on our YouTube, and by the end of the day,
we'll say this. I think we can kind of share this Yeah, we'll figure it out. Thank you, everyone. I'm Keisha.
I'm Candice. This is ASL.
Your efforts are enough. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
I'll hit the button.